Hi everybody, hi, it's me again, RPG Grandma, and yes, I'm looking at the two Dungeon Master guides I've got out here, and what I'm specifically looking at between them is initiative. Now in 5e, it's you roll that d20, then you add your dexterity modifier. That gives you your initiative score. And any other modifiers you might have. So you have and that's how you do it. It's different in 4E. It's your initiative is usually your dexterity check, 1/2 level plus dexterity modifier and other modifiers. So you get a little bump on your initiative because of your level. I'd have to double check their 5E's rules, make sure that's not in there as well. I didn't see it on a quick Google check, but I should pull the player's handbook and look. You know, I haven't played 5E for a bit, so right now I'm playing some old school games. So, what do these two books do in the combat section? I do think the way the 4E is laid out is a little less confusing than the 5Es. Like I said, 4Es winning me over just on layout, and this is the book everyone hated. I don't get it really, but it goes into tracking initiative, and to be honest, they both do that. So good on 5E. They talk about in 5E the hidden list, a visible list, and index cards. And over here we got a similar thing: combat cards, visible list behind the screen. So good. Looks like good solid advice from both of those. I don't know if the 4E book's going to give alternate ideas for initiative. I really have to sit and read through it. I do know that the 5E does that. So let's talk a little bit about initiative. This is just really my excuse to talk about initiative. There's different ways to handle initiative in a game. 5E has all kinds of modifiers, and I would like to point out, so does 4E. It seemed to me when I was looking through here. Yes. Oh yeah, because they have monster readiness, and that affects their perception, which is going to affect other things. They talk about surprise, So the game I'm playing right now, which is not D&D, but it's D&D adjacent, and it's old D&D adjacent. It doesn't have initiative in the standard way. It is your raw dexterity score. Yeah, that's your initiative. And you don't roll. You are what you are. The monsters are what they are. So the only way to get that first round, we go first, is surprise. And there's a roll for surprise. And if no one's surprised, then everything's happening at once based on who can move the fastest. And that's your initiative. Your dexterity, your reaction speed is your initiative and the order that you will go. It's not one side. No. It'll be like Bob, Timmy, Monster A, Monster B, Sally, Monster X, Joan, and it's not even going to go in it's going to be however their dexterity lines up. But both books have all kinds of stuff to modify your initiative, group initiative or side initiative. that is a method I've used effectively in the past. You just have one person on each, one player rolls for everybody. Usually they're the ones with the best modifiers, right? And then the DM rolls for the monsters. And again, best monsters, best modifier. They talk about speed factor in the 5e book. I really don't know if it's in the 4e book. It's probably, it's a pretty good sized book, so it might be in there. I don't know. That's where the players have to tell you what they're doing, what actions they're going to attempt to take before they even roll initiative. So that'd tell you if, like if they're trying to lift a heavy object, like a heavy weapon, that's going to affect their initiative. If they're small, if they're big and cumbersome, that's going to affect their initiative. So it gives examples of things, like the spellcaster is going to cast a spell, obviously, so he's going to be doing a spell casting thing. That's his that's going to affect his initiative. So, action options, all that kind of stuff. So there's different approaches to dealing with initiative. And so you got to figure out what's going to work best at your table. But from my perspective, the raw initiative, we played a game with that, and it worked. It worked fine. We didn't have to waste time rolling for initiative. We just had to figure out. I just had to figure out if the other side was surprised, or if the players were surprised. If nobody was surprised, that sort of thing. If everybody's surprised, So that made it way easier from my perspective. But there's lots of different ways to do initiative. There's been so many different ways over the years. But basically, see who gets to go first in what order. Sometimes it's whoever got the best roll, they're going first, and then you go clockwise. That's another way of dealing with it. There's been a lot of different ways to do initiative over the years. Simultaneous initiative, when you've got player versus player, well, then they got to write down what they're doing and hand it to the game master. The reason I say that is you don't want one person changing what they're going to do based on what the other guy said. Before they even roll, sometimes that's the best way to do it. Okay, what are you guys going to do next turn? Write it down. So they write down what they're going to try to attempt. They hand them over to you, and you tell them to roll for initiative. In that kind of scenario, and then whoever got initiative, well, they get to try their thing first. And hopefully, that's very common in like a war game. Tactics matter. That first part of their turn, that sort of thing. So something to think about with your initiatives. There's many different options. Feel free to delve into initiative options that aren't in your game, whatever kind of game you're playing, or from older editions of your game, if they solve a problem you're having at your table, or a problem that might develop specific to an adventure. You might need to have that initiative system tweaked a little bit, and you should give it some thought. And so, initiative, it's a thing. Okay, everybody have a great day. Bye.